Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to this card making project. In this project we're going to make a gorgeous classical 3D card with paper cutting and lots of the classic elements from Griffin. We're going to use lots of her goodies, and everything I do use I'll try and tell you the kits etc that they're from. If not, please just check my blog because I always list all the items that I've used and any extra items as well. Plus, I always include photos of the card fronts and the inserts. So that's well worth checking my blog if you've watched any projects before and you want to see not only the outside of the card but the inside as well. You can always comment on my blog and I can get back to you. You can always comment on Facebook and I can get back to you, but I can't on YouTube. Okay, housekeeping over, let's craft. So the base card that I'm using is my favourite size, a 7x5" size. I'll show you how it looks on the cardometer. That's where our card sits. Cardometer is based on an A4, based with the A4 being the largest size. Folded down, the A4 becomes the A5, or for my friends across the pond, the A3. The next size down, to give you perspective, is the size that we're using, and that's the 7x5. So I'm just going to use a bone folder from my Griffin tool collection, and I'm just making sure that the edge is nice and sharp so that it will sit on a mantelpiece and not, you know, shoved in a drawer, because that's the last thing we want for our card. Now, as always, I'm going to start with your favourite bit, which I find funny, really, that your favourite bit is the insert, but it is, judging by your messages and comments. You know, so that's great if it gives you good ideas, and if I've helped just one person, then my job is done. Oh, we're just refocusing. Hands-free, look. We're just refocusing. So the first thing that I've done for the inside of the card is I've taken a piece of ivory card and made a layer to fit the inside. And then I've used Anna's 22 clear birthday stamps just to stamp around 3/4 of the card and then stamp a sentiment in the middle. And I've used a deep red ink. I've actually used a StazOn for the stamping around the edge. So the calligraphy stamp is in the 22 clear birthday stamps. They were available years ago, but they're one of my favourite go-to products for birthday sentiments. So we can attach that to the inside of our card. I've got double-sided tape on the back of this so that it will sit nice and flat inside, like so. There we go. Now for the next section of our insert, I've used one of Anna's summer fall layers. Now I can't show you it in its entirety, but this is a section that we're going to use for the front, so you'll know the layer that I mean. And we're also going to use this section from the front. But the sections that I've cut away, I've trimmed them up and I've put them through the Xyron machine, and I am simply going to add these to the inside of our card, like that. One at either side. So I've just followed the pattern and trimmed away the sections that I don't need, as it were, from that side, and trimmed it up. I think I still showed you the wrong side. And I've taken one of the, it's like a flourishy paisley, there's probably a correct term for it, but you know, we'll call it a flourish paisley. And I'm going to add that just underneath, between the arc of the two sections we've just put on. There we go. And that will work perfectly with the front of the card. Nice bit of room to and from. Not too much. But you know, you're just wishing somebody happy birthday. Have a lovely day. There's enough room for that. So now we can turn our attention to the front of the card. Now I think this is going to be a little bit of a masterpiece with the layers and the cutting. So bear with me as we go through it all. So for our first layer on the card, this is one of Anna's metallic layers. And they're 7x5 in size, so they will sit perfectly on the front of your card. Now I've not trimmed this, so I'm just turning the card round so I can see to position it on the front and try and get it straight to cover the card like so. So that's our base layer. Our next layer is the summer fall layer that we've just trimmed a few bits of the edge away, just to leave the main pattern in the centre. And I have to make sure I get it the right way around, so we'll go for that way. I've got it double-sided tape on the back, and I'm literally just going to peel the tape backing off like so, and then position this through the centre of our card like so, edge to edge, she says. Not very edge to edge at the bottom, but you know what, it works for me. Next layer is another of the same pattern that I've simply trimmed up, and I've added 3D foam to it. A little bit of 3D foam that had escaped there. And even though the design is a little bit off with the matching, because I've used the smaller layer for this cutting, the design isn't off, it's just because we've got the straight edge. I shouldn't say the design's off. It matches, but you'd be thinking, why have you got a straight edge there and why there if you've cut it from that layer? So this was the smaller layer that's in the pack of the summer and fall layers. So I've trimmed it up, I've got it on 3D foam, and now I can marry the pattern up and kind of decoupage it so it sits on top of one another like that. Excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat. Now I've got two of the gold flourish stickers, and I'm going to add one to one side of our design, and I'm going to add a second one to the opposite side. Now you know me and symmetrical, so they just cross a little bit through the centre like that. Then I've made two rosettes using Anna's Boxing Day papers, and I've got flat tape and a 3D foam for it just to sit at the side of the flourish like that, she says. And I've got a second rosette, again with the 3D foam and the flat tape, for it to sit at the other side, opposite to the one we've just positioned. I've taken one of Anna's favourite birthday sentiment stickers, and I've added 3D foam through the centre and left it as a sticker at either side of the 3D foam, so that when it sits between the rosettes it should be high enough. And you know what? It's not going to be. So we need to add just that little bit of extra glue to give it some height. So we shall just do that. There we go. 3 blobs of glue. Add that, and that will help it stick there. Just between the 2 rosettes. And then we can finish our card off with 2 little bows, and I'm going to position them at either side of the sentiment, like that. There we go. And that is our card finished. Such a beautiful card, and all those layers and the colours that work perfectly together. The rosettes that give it the 3D feeling, and the height, and the inside that works perfectly with it, the pattern that marries up together. Absolutely stunning. Stands up nicely, but you see, that's going to just, it's not glued yet, it's not set. Oh, stands up nicely. It worked. And it's just such a beautiful card, such a beautiful design of paper, and it just all works so well. Please check my blog for other projects. There's bound to be something on there that you like. Please feel free to share any of my projects. If you've ever got any questions, feel free to get in touch. I can only reply on Facebook or on my blog. Please try not to ask me on YouTube, because if I reply and my reply disappears, then it makes it look like I'm being rude, and I'm not. So ask me any questions on Facebook or my blog, or you can always contact me directly by email. My email contact details are on my blog, so you know that's another option for you. So thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you next time.